Hello and welcome to the Pretty Good Gaming Podcast, episode 17. My name is Mike Williams. I'm joined by Mr. Lee McKelvey.
Hello.
Jake Kukowski.
Hi.
And Gareth Evans.
Hello, everybody.
We've got a bunch of topics, as always, this week, as well as a very exciting announcement, which we'll tell you about a little bit later on. Yeah, there's been tons of stuff happening this week, but we're going to be talking about all kinds of different stuff, some games we've been playing, and some just news, some issues that we want to talk about. So, Gaz, first up, what have you got for us this week?
Okay, I want to talk about PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, because we've all been playing that, other than Liam. I apologise for kind of leaving you out, excluding you from this discussion. But yeah, I'm going to talk about the future of Battlegrounds, because we've all played it now. We're having a lot of fun playing it.
It's very good.
And we foresee playing it well into the future, that's for sure. They've made some announcements as to what the future will be like. They've announced that they will have 2D and 3D match replays, so a 2D top-down replay, as well as a 3D in-engine replay.
I really want that.
With a floating camera. But much like, obviously, it's that kind of GTA 5 thing where machinima, they call it, isn't it? When you make gameplay, kind of cinematic videos out of gameplay after the fact. So we're excited for that, I guess.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, like I'm always saying about this game, one of the best things is that you can like make your own cinematic moments and stuff like that. And so the ability to capture that, and you know, sometimes what you do is cinematic. But have you ever wondered, like, you've been killed and you're like, oh, where the hell's that guy come from? He could have popped a wild good shot off at you from a mile away. And I want to see that sometimes.
Whenever I die, I always imagine that the other guy's amazing, and I'm like, where's he come? How's he got that? That asshole.
I mean,
you know.
that's a different thing from learning about the game and how to play the game, and learning from other people, and just analysing your own play. That's a tool for that as well, as well as being able to make cinematic things out of. So yeah, very much looking forward to that.
Was that from E3? Was it? Was that these?
That was Brendan Green, who is PlayerUnknown. I think he did mention it during the E3. When he had an interview with him on stage. Obviously, that's an awesome addition that will be coming. Another thing that I've announced recently is the zombies mode, which is PvP. So player zombies as well as regular players. How it will work, I don't know. It was inspired, I think, by some streamers. We watched some of the footage.
Jack Frags and that lot, wasn't it?
Yeah, they made a mod, because you can host your own servers now. They made a mod where they had some of their watchers participating as zombies, where they couldn't equip any proper weapons other than melee weapons. It wasn't quite zombies, but apparently it inspired Bluehole, who are the developers, to make a zombies mode. How they'll implement it is another question. So
very little info, isn't there? We do know that it's not going to be like 50 players, 50 zombies. It's going to be one-sided, isn't it? It's going to be like more like 20 people and 80 zombies. That's one thing I've seen. I know it's not going to be. It's going to be like handicapped to one side.
Well, that's interesting though. So I mean, it would be great if you could turn players into zombies.
That's what I was going to say.
So you'd start with a very small amount of zombies.
Yeah, that's what I would have. I thought, I don't know how easy that would be, but bear in mind, players land unarmed.
Yeah.
There is that brief window where, if a zombie's got, strong and melee abilities and stuff like that, they could overpower like an unarmed player, even a player with a pistol or something, quite easily. Yeah. Then you could just spread that population quite quickly.
It might be difficult on the huge map that we've got currently. If they implement, we'll talk about new maps in a little bit, but if they have smaller maps, it might be easier to for zombies to get a foothold if they start with a smaller number, for instance. The next thing that they have announced, and they've got a trailer for, is vaulting too. So
there is a trailer for vaulting over stuff.
That was funny, wasn't it?
It is
out of context, if you don't know what this game is, you'll be like,
honestly, Liam, it's great. Okay,
it's exciting. It's a big deal.
Thoroughly excited.
It'll ramp up the gameplay so fast. There's so many times you've died because there's a little waist high wall and you try and jump and you're just doing it.
You have to take a run up.
If you could do a little. That was a sound of a vault.
It's very easy to make an arse out of yourself trying to get over a fence.
It's going to change the strategy of the game too, because currently if there's a picket fence, people can't traverse it, or a wall or something. But vaulting shows that they can get over like even head height walls. So if you can see an enclosed area, then they're not confined to that anymore. So that affects the strategy as well, and how you're approaching, taking someone down, for instance. So that's one of the biggest, most needed improvements to the game, I think. It's a cause for huge frustration. for a lot of people, and it'll make the game look a lot smoother too.
Yeah,
it looks a bit junky
it'll help with that a lot.
It's all part of the smoothing out process, I guess, isn't it? Just all these little things. Vaulting, it's like, all right, vaulting.
How you
stuff.
react to an object that
deal.
high, like you know, it's a fast-paced game, and you're like. Blocked by like a little fence, so that'll make the game so much more.
We maybe haven't pointed out yet. It is in early access, so that's why this kind of stuff is still coming out.
And they've got a huge push for polishing things before releasing them. And obviously, there's a lot of pressure. They can't just release any old update it any old way. They've got to make a playable version of the game. Yeah. So
you don't know how it affects other things, do you? Either when you're with all these kind of things, when you add something, you know, how's it? There's so many like things going on in a game under the hood. Like you don't know how it's going to affect, like, you know, clipping and collision and stuff. If you say you can go over a fence, then what can't you go over? Can you vault over rocks and all that stuff? So it takes ages.
It's
vaulting,
so funny,
everyone.
Out of context, this is so fucking ridiculous.
If you don't play the game,
a trailer for jumping in a game, but it's so exciting if you play it. So if you're not aware of it, you've just got to trust us on this one. It's a big deal.
I think it speaks volumes for the enjoyment that you can get out of a game that doesn't include vaulting and stuff like that. Like the game itself is so good that you don't even need to be able to get over
very
shit.
True, very true.
Anyway, moving on. Kill cam was announced too. So how are they going to implement this?
This is. I've only started playing this about a week ago, and that was like one of the first things. The first emotional reaction I had was, I want to. What? How did I die? I want to see how I died. I want to see this.
You've got to be careful with this, because let's say there's 4 of you in a squad, or for us 4 people. I can't imagine I am this guy. So let's imagine you're a good player at Battlegrounds. There's 4 guys in a squad in a house. You kill one of them. That guy that died then can see where you are and then tell his teammates. So they've got to be very careful implementing that.
If you can leave it till a squad is wiped, that would be a solution.
Yeah. That would be the smart way of doing it. Because if it was just every kill had a kill cam, it would give away a lot of positions, and it would really be unfair for the Rambos out there. No problem in the single player mode. Obviously, you die, you get to see the kill cam. But that is the best suggestion I think so far that I've seen, is, you know, when the whole squad dies, or when both of you die if you do a duo. That's when you get to see everyone's kill cam. Because
and again, we need to point out, you can win as a team. It is like Battle Royale, but you can win as a group of 4, even if it's just one guy left. Like you still get the win. So, like we did the other day, we won as a team, didn't we, Jay? We got chicken dinner on Sunday.
All of us survived. All of us survived. But we can do it where.
Just so I'd put that out there, that we got chicken dinner on Sunday. So. That was a great time.
Sunday dinner,
They've also announced 2 new maps. One smaller urban space in the middle of a desert.
Interesting.
Which would be great for me. I love buildings and going door to door, and I remember Alman.
So that says to me that there's an armor expansion that was in the desert somewhere. So they've probably they're looking at what assets they've already got for armor and stuff, and just like, how can we? Which is obviously what they've done with the map that you've already got is. It's like they've taken stuff from Arma 2 and stuff. So that's cool. I'm
interested in like different sizes of maps too.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
the size of the map we've got is absolutely huge. And how with the smaller map, how did they change that? So, you know, because the area gets gradually smaller.
Yeah. How do you balance the?
Will there be less players? I mean, will it be quicker? There's all these different things that they can add as well as the map. Yeah. And that will affect the game, because that way you can decide within yourself, do I want to play a game today that's going to be short, fast-paced? I'll jump into the urban map. Do I want to play a longer game? I'll jump into the 100-player map that we've already got. So it's good, because it means that you've got a lot of options there. You know, even just.
I would have thought a map with more buildings, more like just same amount of loot but compressed down. You could handle 100 players on that. So that in itself, I think, is a great thing. But also, in addition, I think a smaller map for 50 people, or smaller for like 25 people, if you do want a shorter game, if you only got like 10 minutes, or even like a 4v4 thing where it's just a small area, I don't know how that would play out, whether it'd retain a lot of the same excitement and tension as the bigger map. But I don't know. I'm interested to see what they can come up with, because it's just one map at this stage. Like, they can come up with so many possibilities. Anyway, moving on. The other map they've announced is a larger map near the Adriatic Sea, featuring a huge cosmodrome in the middle.
Oh, wonderful!
Which is like a launch pad for a space shuttle.
Yeah.
Those of you who don't know, it's like a Russian space.
My favorite game area of any game ever is the cosmodrome from Destiny, where it's just like, because they're like a really nice skybox, and there's just like space rockets going off into the distance and stuff. That sounds awesome to me. I'm really excited about that idea. Like, it's such a, you know, it's Eastern European kind of thing, the map now as it is. So like, how do you make that, like, you know, interesting? How do you not make it the same kind of houses and apartment blocks and all that stuff over and over and over again? Make it a flipping cosmodrome Yes, please. I want to see that. I want to be sneaking around like wrecked airplanes and space shuttles and stuff.
Like Battlefield 1 was the last shooter, not that close to Battlegrounds, but my favourite maps by far on that were the desert maps. I love desert maps.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's a desert map going, they seem to have appealed to me and you already.
Yeah.
Quite, you know.
Yeah.
What does Jake and Mike want? That's probably what they were thinking. Mike hasn't even bought it yet.
But it's quite a broad spectrum already.
Yeah.
I think the real success of an online game, there's two ways of doing it, isn't there? Do one thing really, really well. Or like think about Call of Duty 4 when that came out. Say what you will about Call of Duty. Call of Duty 4 was a huge success, and there was different game modes.
Yeah.
So what you've said already, we know that there's going to be at least another mode, zombie mode, potentially more. We know that there's at least going to be different maps. And then what we've just been sort of thinking about then, if there's different size maps, there's a real variety already in the works that we know of.
Yeah.
Some people played Call of Duty 4 and only played Team Deathmatch. Some people only played Sabotage or whatever. So that's what I'm saying. So even if you only like one of these things, you've got a big appeal, and I know that they're going to do it well.
Yeah. The other thing that they announced too during E3 was the different weather. But now we've got a rainy map now, and we've got a regular map. I think there's a foggy mode, which is going to take out severely restrict the snipers out there.
Yeah.
So that gives you a bit more cover at longer distances. Yeah. Because if you're in an open field during the game, you're very exposed. This will lessen that to a degree. You won't be as vulnerable.
What I'd like to see, I mean, at the moment it's kind of randomised, isn't it? You just start a game and it's raining or it's not. Yeah, that's how it is. You can't select or whatever. Well, yeah, but I'd like to see it like fog rolling in. I'd like to see like rain starting. Yeah. I would like to see the conditions change mid game.
It would be a whole other opportunity for players. So let's say you were in like a field and you saw some fog rolling, and you could time your opportunistic run to those, or it started raining. That means like they won't be able to hear me as well because of the rain and stuff. I'll take my chances now, or there's fog coming, I'll run into that fog and then I can get to cover. So it'll give you a lot more opportunity, won't it? And it'll give the people that you're shooting at an opportunity to get away. So that just adds excitement.
Exactly. It's just a minor change, not minor tweak to the gameplay, but it does change a lot of the things. Like it takes the advantage away from the people who are good at shooting long range, for instance, and a shotgun is more valuable then in that scenario. So also the other one that they announced was the night mode too. So that's 4 separate conditions that you could be subject to in the game. But yeah, the rolling weather thing sounds awesome to me.
That'd be interesting.
Can you imagine playing a game, you would pin down some weather condition, because it'll feel so random, would happen, and then you'd roll the game and win. Can you imagine being like, we were pinned down, some fog came in.
It just adds to that story.
Exactly. You can talk about
dynamic stories
a game you played and people will understand it, and you'd be like, oh, that's really good. It's nice to share the stories of the fun wins and great losses.
Great losses. All those great
losses. So that's about it for our Battlegrounds, the future of Battlegrounds session.
Yeah, cool. Okay, cheers, Gareth. Liam, you've been sitting there politely while we've been talking about a game that you have no experience of. So why don't you tell us about Wipeout?
So I've been playing the Wipeout Omega Collection on PS4.
Which is a remake, is it?
It's a remaster of 3 different Wipeout games. Wipeout 2048 for the Vita, and HD and Fury, which are on PS3.
Right, okay.
As soon as you boot up the game, it's like the presentation is like immaculate.
Yeah.
Like the UI is like super clean, and like it's easy to find everything in the menus.
Yeah.
Like you can tell they've got some like very talented like graphic art designers behind this game.
It looks very nice, like graphically and stuff. Didn't you get a 4K TV very recently, and then this was like let's see what this can do. Let's see what this baby can do kind of game.
It was a good. As like a technical showcase for the PS4. The Omega Collection is actually like really good.
You're running it on the Pro, right?
PS4 Pro, which you can do 4K, native 4K at 60 frames a second, like constant. And it's really nice just to look at, like visually. This
is what upsets me about this 4K discussion. I'm quite a technically literate person, right? I've had a few PCs in my time. I've had a few tellies. I know what to do with them. There's native 4K, true 4K. I have explained the difference myself on the channel to other people. I've forgotten what the difference is, right?
Scaling, checkerboarding.
Exactly. So native 4K, is that like is that the best one?
Does that mean it's actual 4K?
Is that what Microsoft?
It is the best. It means it's like actual 4K. Like I think it's
rendered 4K.
Yeah, it's like no cheap upscaling tricks or anything like that. It's yeah.
That made it sound like you were referencing someone, like, mentioning no names.
Sorry, just clearing the throat. Yeah, it is. It's true for
very nice.
So much terminal.
Yeah, it's just like real life 4K that nothing else can beat.
No cheap tricks or upscaling or anything.
Proper. We'll just call it that, innit? Proper.
Yeah.
Actual 4K. Do you know what I mean? Anyway.
Just call it that.
Sorry, this side railing you.
As for the like actual gameplay, it's Wipeout, you know? Like it hasn't really changed all that much since last one was probably PS3.
I remember playing Wipeout, Super Nintendo days, like the
or PS1 it was.
Was it PS1?
PS1.
Still,
it was that same era for me.
Yeah, they were right close to each other.
So it's like what's changed since then? That's what I'm asking about. So I'm thinking, like, is the gameplay the same? Is it just different maps? Is it just different? Is it just prettier now?
The last Wipeout game I actually played was on the PS2, so I missed out on like the entire like PS3 Vita games. So I probably wouldn't be the best equipped to say what's changed since the like original game.
You're still floating above a track and there's like on rails.
Yeah, it's still like anti-gravity like racing sort of thing.
Yeah. It's the only kind of racing game that remotely appeals to me because it's racing in space kind of thing. You know, it's like because they're space race. You know,
space race.
I'm saying space, but I mean sci-fi. You know, they're hovering. That's enough. That's enough to do it. But there's like weapons and stuff in there. It's not just...
there's like races which are just like literally just point A to point B races. There's like laps, and then there's like combat events where you have to get a certain amount of points before you can even take home a medal.
Can you customize your vehicle in any way?
You can't customize it yourself, but there are like different skins you can unlock.
Oh, right, okay.
So, like,
you can't change the performance or anything? Or...
No, it's like there's different classes ships like from different manufacturers, and they all have like different stats. Like AG system ships are like slightly slower, but they can handle better around corners.
Oh, okay. So it's just a trade-off. You got to make a tactical kind of decision.
It's kind of like, you know, in Mario Kart.
I was going to say like Mario Kart, but
it's
I'm going to sound like an idiot if I say that.
It is exactly where each racer has like a certain strength. So like Mario's an all-rounder, but Toad is like all speed. Yeah. It's that same sort of system.
So what I want to get to is when you were talking about this in the office, and I was asking what you want to talk about in the podcast. You said you could rant about this.
I could.
Why?
I have a fair few problems with the game. So when you actually, the first like half of the game, all the games, it's free technically. It's like they're fun. They're like easy going, not easy going, but there's a good amount of challenge to them. There's a nice variety, and it's plenty enough to keep you entertained.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get into like the second half, like the difficulty spikes. Like, super hard.
So it's a really hard game all of a sudden. That's what you're upset about.
Completely out of the blue. Not upset. Just it's like I wish it could have been a bit more gradual. You know.
Yeah.
That's a legitimate frustration.
Absolutely.
I remember doing one race and I was like, oh, that was like a nice challenge. Like they were like not letting me win, but like giving me a fair amount of.
Like, you could do it. It was achievable.
It was achievable. And then I went straight into the next race, and it was brutal. Like. I hit the corner once because I got rammed to the side, put me all the way back to 8th place, and I couldn't catch her.
8th is last, right?
Yeah. That is frustrating, isn't it? Especially in a racing game where you can see the difference so night and day. Like you could beat that group of racers, and then the next one, it's just impossible. If you make one error, you just can't do it. I definitely appreciate that. So is that like the old school design that's just... They haven't changed at all, and they've just kept it exactly the same?
I don't know, because I've seen it in a fair few racing games where all of a sudden it's like nigh on impossible to beat like the late game AI.
Right.
Like in combat events in Wipeout, there's usually like quite fairly balanced with the weapons, but then in like the late stage races that I'm at now, it's like constant getting hit like missile after missile. And then like there's a move called Quake, which is like the blue shell equivalent in Wipeout.
Okay.
And that happened to me 5 times in one race. Usually it happens once a race. At most.
I find it so funny that you're like waltzing through Neo and you're like, Neo's
not
that
hard. My problem with this game is it's just too bloody hard.
Wipeout, I can't, it's too hard. Yeah,
it's funny. Some of the races in Wipeout at this point are bordering nigh on impossible.
I want this game, I'm interested in it because it's sci-fi racing. I want to get into that.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're saying it's hard makes me feel like I wouldn't like stand a chance. Like I just wouldn't be able to well, I wouldn't have the patience, and I wouldn't just have the skills and the learning to sort it out, kind of thing. So it's kind of putting me off a little bit, the fact that you're struggling with it, which says a lot to me.
Don't let it put you off. Just don't play the later races.
Some people like a challenge, though. There is that. So and some people are like nuts for racing games.
Exactly.
Some games are really hard at the start, and then they're too easy towards the end. So that kind of upsets that.
That's an interesting discussion, maybe for the next podcast. How difficult curves are like that. When a game starts off such an uphill struggle, and all of a sudden it's just like
it's all about the curve, the difficulty curve.
The scaling it
getting that right,
correctly
getting the balance
it is an art form in itself. That.
But so fundamentally though, it looks great. It's very fun to play, and it just gets very difficult after a while.
My other major complaint with it is it's at this point it's like repetitive as shit.
Right.
Like it feels like I've seen the same tracks hundreds of times.
Yeah.
I've heard the same songs literally. So like
I think they're called tracks when they're that kind of thing. I think you don't call them songs, you call them tracks.
Like they're like ingrained.
I appreciate the fact they didn't use tracks because I hate that too. I hate
I'm being an asshole. I'm not like
He didn't go to beats, so did he?
Yeah, he didn't.
I've
go
heard the same beats over and over again.
You could have said tunes.
You had a nice middle ground there.
I've got the same like repetitive techno beat like ingrained into my brain at this point. I've heard the same songs that many times.
How many hours have you put into this?
I'm honestly not sure. Not that many, because it's not a terribly long game. It's just there's a lot of content. It's just that content's repeated.
So how many maps?
I think there was between all three games, I think there's about 40 maps.
Right.
But over the course of because there's a lot of events per remastered game.
Yeah.
You end up seeing them like so many times. It just it feels like a chore.
When you say this is my confusion. When you say game, then. Is it all three of the old games that have been compiled into one game? Or like Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, it's very clear that it's 3 games.
Yeah.
Is it like that, or is it one big game that's compiled all the stuff from the other games into
That's a
one?
good question.
It's a bit of a strange one. So like all the gameplay mechanics across all 3 of them are like identical.
Right, yeah.
But because there are 3 distinct campaigns, but each has like a different art style, different UI,
right,
like that sort of thing. So it's like a weird hybrid sort of design.
Yeah.
Where like they've kept the old classic design for fans, but at the same time they've tried to make it this like one cohesive package.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I've not seen it explained. I was thinking like if they bundled it into one game. So, in terms of the difficulty, did you do like half of campaign 1, it was too hard, and you went to campaign 2? Is it like that, or
so like
the last half of all 3 of them, sort of thing?
That's probably like how it's easily distinguishable, because you can do it like you go for the first campaign, starts like shallow end, then by the end it's like that's when it gets to the brutal difficulty. Then if you move on to the next campaign, it starts like that cycle over again.
Yeah.
So it's like dipping your toes in, and then when you get to the end of the next campaign, it's like brutally hard again, and it goes through that cycle through all 3 of the games, really.
Right, that's cool. I guess so. You got 3 campaigns there, not one big one. That's good. Is it online?
Yeah, there's multiplayer. You can like.
How'd it go with that yet?
I haven't actually had a go yet. I don't know.
Probably be easier than the AI at this point. Do you know what I mean? It's probably loads of fed up people like you, just like, fuck this, I'm playing against other people.
Chilling out with some real humans. Yeah. All right, nice one.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I have to say.
Wipeout Omega Collection. It sounds like a good package at the very least. Like Sony's been pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Like they've Ratchet and Clank was I keep talking about it, but it's a good like price point. It's 30 quid. That was 30 quid, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Wipeout.
Wipeouts are cheaper. I think it's like 26.
Right. Fair enough. So they've got a good idea of how to remake a game in some cases, and then just package it in a nice affordable thing. They're not like going out of the way and charging you like full whack for it, which is ridiculous. So do you feel like you got your money's worth out of it?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's worth the price of entry.
I think if you're nostalgic about the PS1 days or PS2 days, like this Wipeout collection is like aimed squarely at you.
Right.
I mean, they even did the slip case that looks like a PS1
Yeah, that was
game
so
case.
nice. Yeah.
It's like they're going heavy on the nostalgia.
The old PlayStation case, like proper from like.
I'm not sure like side conversations work during the podcast, Jake. But,
so it's
just going off about it. Yeah. Not sure that's how it works.
Sorry.
But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, more on that.
It's a very nice case.
It is a nice case. I completely lost. I forgot that I was even here.
I can't blame you. You go swept over the excitement. That Sony hype, they got you right there.
All in all, if you're a Wipeout fan, go for it. So it's only like 25 quid. It's worth your time.
Well, thank you very much, Liam. That's the Wipeout Omega Collection. Jake, you've been revisiting a game called, what was it? The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3, that was it.
The Witcher 3.
That was it.
My old mate Gerald on the Riviera. So on Friday, for those, it was Friday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
We played The Witcher on Twitch, the Twitcher 3. If you don't know, we have a Twitch channel. And yeah, Gaz wanted to revisit The Witcher 3, which kickstarted a wave of people who watched the chat and me re-downloading it. So before I get into
and
what
me,
I think,
actually, I must point out.
Shall I just like put out there why I wanted to play it?
This is what I was going to ask you.
I'll just let people know for those who didn't join the stream. There was like over 100 people at one point.
There's 130 at one point.
Yeah, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
It's twitch.com/pretty good gaming YT for YouTube. So if for those of you who want to catch up on the Twitch. So my idea was that I was one of the people who's picked up The Witcher 3 a few times. Like it's generally like 3 months in between me playing it, and I play it for a few hours, and then I just don't feel the attraction to it, and I put it down and leave it for a few minutes. Now, with this game being one of the most beloved games throughout the whole of the game industry, I'm thinking like there must be something that I'm missing, which is why I wanted to sit down with Mike and with you guys to play it with you, so that you could explain to me, or I could get that feeling from you, because I don't feel. It's not great. Like I feel like I'm missing out on something.
Yeah, I know.
That was my reason. I wasn't sitting there just to berate it or just to say I don't like this and don't like that. I want to be in this club. I'm knocking at the door and I'm begging people
RPG
to let
squad.
me in. But that was the reason behind me playing it, and so it got your interest.
It piqued everyone's interest.
Yeah,
everybody was going, "Oh, I remember this bit." So,
which is a key thing, which we should get on in a minute.
Which is
people remember bits of it very strongly.
Okay. So I was wondering how I would feel if I revisited it, and I played it on the PC a little bit, and I realised, I haven't done Blood and Wine and all that, so I'm going to start it again. I'm not going to reload my save, I'm going to start it again. And the game came out a couple of years ago now, 2015 May, and I got it then. Took a couple of days off work, got immersed in it and loved it. Since then, people who might not have initially bought what was sort of advertised as like a hardcore RPG, a bit more mainstream audience have delved into this world. I mean, we're seeing comments now that it's half the price and you've got all the...
Oh, the pricing is so competitive on it. Like, they're really good. They put it on sale regularly for very cheap with all the DLC.
With all the stuff, exactly. So a lot of people are now getting into it. One of the most staple comments on our channel is definitely, whatever game we're talking about, whatever news story we're talking about, there's always someone in the comments like, this isn't as good as The Witcher 3, though.
And it's not the same guy. Like, we should point that out. It's many people.
Many people. So I was thinking, it's now built a lot of hype. And it's my expectation in my head been raised so much.
Yeah.
If I go back to it, what's it going to be like? Because I remember having fond memories of it. But seeing all these people still for years and years banging on about it, I'm like, oh, God. Was it that good? So... let's find out.
That's the introduction out of the way. Let's talk about the game.
So there's a couple of things in life that are better the second time. Inception, the film, The Wire, breaking up with a girlfriend, and The Witcher 3.
A better? Hang on.
Yeah. A better second
easier. You like more easier to get through.
You get more
sound
enjoyment.
like you're having a lot of fun out of breaking up with people. It's a lot better the second time when you break up. Anyway, sorry. Carry on.
So I've got to say, The Witcher 3 so far is even better the second time. Now, the reason being, you know what to expect. So you've got, Geralt, the fucking Clint Eastwood of video games, just stone-faced, on the surface a bit of a boring bastard, cocky little he sounds like Batman or whatever. But no, when you know him from playing further games and stuff, and you revisit that stuff, you go, oh, it's this bit. What's weird is like a lot of games like this, a lot of high fantasy showy things like films like The Lord of the Rings and stuff. the first time you see it is normally the best time because it's like a spectacle.
Yeah.
And then the second time, you're like, oh, it's going to be this bit.
More about the characters
but
and the.
There's something about this game that it's like, oh, it's this bit. Everybody in the chat on Twitch watching Gaz. Oh, can't wait for this next bit coming up.
There's a level of variety to it that's just pretty unparalleled, and that's one of the main strengths. You ask anyone, it's the side quests, it's the NPCs who explain problems. They're like, oh, I need 7 berries, please, go get them. It's none of that shit. It's like, if there ever is anything like that, Geralt will say, what do you think I am? I'm a monster hunter. I'm not going to go around looking for berries for you. But then he'll be like, fine, I'll fucking look at your berries. It's like, all the interactions are memorable because there's so many different things in it. There's so many different monsters and different situations.
I think the way that they've approached this game is that they've wrote a story based on characters existing in the world.
Yeah.
Rather than build a plot twist and a story, something like Fallout 4, for example, where there's like the twist towards the end.
Yeah.
They wrote that story and then they wrote the characters afterwards. With The Witcher, they wrote the characters first.
Yeah.
And that means you can put these well-written characters into nearly any situation and it's exciting. So, and you want to know what happens. So obviously the huge amount of content in this game is, well, it's almost unprecedented, really. I started the game again and I've tried to play a different style than I did last time. And I found quests that I haven't done before already that I completely missed.
Any RPG worth its salt, you'll go back to it, you'll find stuff you haven't done before, you'll find quests. That's a sign of a good RPG in my book. If there's stuff that makes you go, holy shit, I missed this. That's like a key ingredient, and Witch has definitely got that in spades.
Easy to do when you've got over 100 hours of gameplay, though.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what it's about, though. Is if you've got these big open areas where you go to, you might miss villages. You might miss like a notice board that's got a job on it that you just didn't, and you follow that, and it's a really interesting side quest. There's a lot of that you could easily miss.
And that's what it is. It's like the one quest that I found at the very beginning I hadn't done was something about like some dwarf and like someone burnt down his house.
Oh yeah.
And you have to go and it's a side quest and you remember it from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. You don't get that with other games, really. Right. It's like Horizon Zero Dawn. I couldn't name you 5 side quests.
That's very true.
And I love Horizon. And that's no slight on Horizon because it's great. But honestly, the main thing that pulls that game together is the plot and the gameplay. But with The Witcher, nearly every quest, people can remember it. Oh, it's that one. Oh, the one when you've got to kill that tree. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And it's kind of memory that you don't really know that you've got. You've just, it's in there. So when someone reminds you of it, you're like, oh my God, yeah, I remember that.
So that's the thing. Discovering just one extra side quest is discovering one memorable thing about this game. And revisiting it has been something that I'm really looking forward to continuing with. And going and then knowing that when I do finish the game again, I'll have an expansion to play. I think I've played Hearts of Stone, but not Blood and Wine, so I'll have at least one. But I just can't really express how well this game has aged very well.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I was going to say. And I was wondering if you guys know any other games or is there any games that you've played that have been better on a second run? Because I know playing maybe a couple of years ago, you guys would have played games multiple times. Liam plays games through a lot. You played, like Deadly Premonition, you played 720 times. Is that right?
I've only actually ever played Deadly Premonition the once.
Oh right. Oh, Quantum Break. Am I thinking of?
Quantum Break. I'm on like my 3rd go through.
Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, that was a bit much.
How many times was that?
About 5 or 6.
And by the time I'd finished it once.
I was trying to do the whole speed run thing,
Yeah. No, you nailed it, didn't you? You did a good job on one.
Yeah, I think I got the trophy for it. Pretty sure.
This guy.
Because normally a film, for example,
that
does this sort of thing, is because it's so obscure and twisty and turny that you enjoy it the second time because you know what's happening.
Yeah.
But this game isn't like that. It's something else. You appreciate it more going back.
Well, Knights Old Republic is one of mine. Because Knights Old Republic 2, sorry. Because I know which you can choose which planet you want to go to next and stuff, and I know I've got motivations for going to certain planets and certain orders, and I want to see these characters and I want to talk. I don't know why. I just want to have that interaction again, and so that probably Knights Old Republic. Skyrim maybe replayed that a few times.
Fallout New Vegas for me. I'd say for an RPG.
Yeah.
I'm short of strategy games because strategy games you're generally learning on the first playthrough.
Yeah, so definitely strategy games,
Yeah, that's because you've got your knowledge down, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think that's one of the beauties of RPGs, and that's one of the only criticisms I've seen of The Witcher is that it's a true RPG, because traditionally, like an RPG is you make a character, like Fallout, for example, like you make a character, He's whoever you want, and you play however you want. But in this, you are taking on the role of Geralt of Rivia.
Yeah.
And it's an action. It's very action focused, isn't it? The combat is
fast,
very fast. Yeah. You can change your signs. You've got your Quen or whatever. If you're the Quen Master Race, you've got other signs as well, lesser signs if you like. If you prefer to set people on fire and stuff like that. But the point is, it's very adaptable.
I was trying to think of a witty comeback, but I'm just stunned that you've betrayed me. Like mid podcast, you just come out with some.
You know, some fire.
I couldn't think of anything funny to say back. So yeah,
it's right. So that's the only slight in the game, but you really do take on the role of Geralt, and he is how you play. Like you can be to your detriment. You can kind of say, "Oh, here you are, villager. I've helped you. I don't want any money from you." Normally, they're all horrible. Everybody in the world is horrible. They
spit at you when you walk past.
Yeah,
they even subtitle it above the NPC. If you've got subtitles on, it'll be like CHS spit noise. It'll be like noise.
So
they hate you.
So to summarize this, the real essence of what I'm saying is, I played the game when it first came out. After all the 2 years now of hype and the bars raised, and I went back and I was really pleased to see that it's better. Yeah. It's better a second time. So I urge anyone listening, if you've not played The Witcher in a long time, you may have played it on release or whatever, go back and play it and just remind yourself how much you love games in general and this game. It's flipping good.
And for everyone who does do that and gets an enormous amount of enjoyment out of it, you're welcome, because this wouldn't have happened
it's all down to you.
If I wasn't curious as to why everyone else was so excited about the game.
All it achieved really was you understood a little bit more about the game, but everyone around you started fanboying.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone else started creaming themselves. Well, I went home and played a couple of hours of it. That's just it. I was like, I'm interested to play more. But then I put it down and played other games. So it didn't work for me, unfortunately. Maybe after this conversation, I'll go home and play another hour.
That's
and
what
then put it down again for a few months.
It's a game that requires just like
patience,
just drenching yourself in it, just dive into it. Like you can't dip in and out of it. I think it's that kind of game. It's all about like everything has depth. All the characters feel like they have depth. The locations, which is why I kept saying in this in the stream, like the locations, they've put so much work into every square like acre of that or whatever. It's just like. There's so much detailed depth. There's like locations where things seem to have happened, but it's not mentioned anywhere. It's just a gnarly little scene that you'll ride past on your horse. There's a lot of depth to it. So it is exactly the kind of game that you can replay and get something else out of it. Enjoy it because it's familiar and because there's new stuff, like you said, that you haven't.
Yeah, what a rare thing. That's what.
Yeah. So The Witcher is good again. So I want to talk about Horizon Zero Dawn, or specifically Microsoft saying they want to make Horizon Zero Dawn, and that's like they explicitly said we want to make Horizon Zero Dawn. So I'll explain to you what's happened first. Microsoft, or rather a recruiter, like a recruitment agency guy for Microsoft, has posted a job listing on LinkedIn, which essentially says, Horizon Zero Dawn, we want one of those. Can you make one for us? That's the summary of what's happened. Like, it's that easy. Like, can you make us Horizon Zero Dawn, please? The job is for a lead environment artist, which was posted on the LinkedIn profile of Sandor Roberts. Sandor as in Sandor Clegane. So he's like a recruitment agent or something. He doesn't work for Microsoft. It was actually posted 2 months ago. It's only kind of emerged in the last week or so. And the exact wording is this. Looking for lead environment artist for Microsoft AAA next-gen title. Fine, so far so good. The exact wording is style similar to Horizon Zero Dawn. So they're not even saying we want a third-person open-world adventure. Yeah. They're like, we want to make a Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah. It's the lack of imagination there really is infuriating to me for a lot of reasons. Horizon Zero Dawn obviously is a PlayStation exclusive, and it was a very successful game for Sony. It sold a lot, and it's very, very highly reviewed. Microsoft are kind of lacking in exclusives as far as we know. Of that scale, I suppose, a big AAA like system seller titles, right? So my first question is this, guys, right? If Microsoft succeeded and they made a Horizon Zero Dawn for Sony, for Xbox, so there's a Horizon Zero Dawn equivalent on Xbox, is that going to be a system seller? Because Sony already has a Horizon Zero Dawn. It's called Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's on. Like, what's the thinking here? What are they thinking?
For me, it speaks lack of originality and lack of original ideas. It's like. I don't know what they're thinking really, especially since this is out there in the real world now. They can't take it back. It's like
the page has been taken down. It's 404 not found now, so they're trying to bury this one.
It's literally saying we're trying to copy this awesome game that our competitors have released. Like, that's literally what they're saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it is laughable really. Microsoft. I don't know. We criticize Xbox and not enough exclusive games and things like that, but no idea of who's going to be producing this game, who's going to be developing it.
It's probably some sort of in-house. If it's Microsoft, then I'm sure if Microsoft are recruiting for it, maybe the studio in-house stuff is going to be making a comeback. They need more studios. Why not make games themselves?
Would have been 2 months ago too. You've got to think that they're very early in the development cycle as well. If they're looking for a world builder, so.
Yeah, well, I wonder maybe the game will be a different game, but because it's an environment design, right?
It's environment.
So it could be like a first-person game in a prehistoric era. It might not be like the found future style we say with the robot dinosaurs. The world of Horizon Zero Dawn, bar the like random football stadiums and stuff, is very much like a Far Cry Prime. They could have dodged so many bullets by just like wording it like that.
Exactly.
Looking for prehistoric era.
They could get the guy to the interview and then go, you know what, we kind of want to see like Horizon Zero Dawn.
They need to advertise
They have to be very specific, do they? It's like, I can build worlds, but I can't build Horizon Zero Dawn.
Exactly.
So I'm not going for that job.
If you can't do Horizon Zero Dawn, don't even bother sending in your CV, because we're not. We want to make Horizon Zero Dawn.
It's at least Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
It could for all we know, it could be a first-person like fucking Turok dinosaur game.
Yeah.
But
I want Microsoft games. I want more Xbox One games. I want a real proper reason to buy an Xbox One other than that it's really powerful. I'm actually, the more I'm thinking about the One X, the more I think it's like, that is a very good console. When the price comes down and stuff, which it will, give it a year or so, that'll be a very tempting offer to some people. Not at launch at that price. Whether or not it's fair for those parts is a different question. It's whether or not people want to pay $450 for it. Anyway, the console is good. They need more games. I want them to have more games. I don't want games that already exist, but they're having their own version of it on a different platform. Like,
it's quite like game companies do this a lot, and even going all the way back to like Guerrilla Games, who made Horizon Zero Dawn. When they first made Killzone for the PS2, their whole marketing pitch was, this is like the rival to the Halo.
Exactly. Yeah, that was going to be one of my points, and also the fact that Horizon Zero Dawn is itself a major imitation on like The Witcher 3, which we've just been talking about. The exact mechanics ripped. Yeah, it's a good game, isn't it?
Yeah.
They just ripped it out of like the Witcher Senses mode, right? Which is itself from like Batman Arkham and all those other kind of types of games, like a different kind of vision, eagle vision from Assassin's Creed. So the Witcher evolved that and had this thing where you're following clues and it's done in a certain way, right? Footsteps that lead to a clue. There's some text that gives you some details and stuff. The Horizon Zero Dawn did it exactly the same way, and it's got towers. It's itself a copycat of all these different things, but it did it in its own fresh kind of way. So you're absolutely right. They have copied stuff over, but what I think I find so upsetting is the fact that they've just said we want to do this.
Yeah, I think that you need to draw a distinction between actually game mechanics themselves.
Yeah,
it's good to assimilate some awesome game mechanics. Whatever you see out there in the industry, wherever it's good, you should be trying to make your game in that way, because if you see something that's awesome, you make your game awesome in that way with the game mechanics. So whether it's just that, or whether this listens for a world, for a creative environment. So they're just basically going to rip off the Horizon Zero Dawn world environment. Is that what they're trying to do here, and not bring any other gameplay over? I don't know.
It's early days, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't really know that much detail.
The word that makes it seem like the thing is, with stuff like what we just said then, you need to distinguish between being influenced by and imitating. Yeah. And that looks like they're trying to imitate something else, not being influenced by it, not drawing in the good things from different games and then building their own, because they wouldn't say it so tactlessly. They're literally saying, we want to copy what they're doing. It's like
it's like a Liam saying where the kill zone was meant to be the Halo killer. Halo killer has been a big one for a long time. COD killer has been a big one for a long time. Halo is more significant in this case because it is like one platform has got this awesome first-person shooter series, and then another platform is going, we need an awesome first-person shooter series. That's kind of what's happening here, exactly. But it's just that it's flipped around, and it's for a game that doesn't exist yet, or they're working on it in very early development, and they're saying we want to make a Horizon Zero Dawn killer. Do you think it's fair then?
I don't. Well, the thing is, this isn't even like the first time Microsoft have done something like this.
No.
Like back in the PS2 Xbox era. Like Gran Turismo 3 or 4 came out on PS2, people loved it, and then Microsoft actually said we want our own Gran Turismo, and that's how we have the Forza games today. So it's not even like a new. I think it's probably just the game industry in general.
It is, that's
like an arms race, isn't it? Like copying what everyone else is doing.
And following trends very much so.
So
like this
fucking boring now.
What did you call it? The prehistoric in the future?
Found future.
Found fucking hell.
Yeah.
Found future. So I upset myself for just saying that. Found future games. Yeah. It's like Anthem. Right, that's another. All of a sudden, we've had Horizon Zero Dawn. All of a sudden, there's another one. There's another one in a similar kind of setting. Microsoft are saying as well, we want to make Horizon Zero Dawn.
It'll be pirates next.
Do you know? It's
depressing. It's fucking boring as hell. it's like a burger chain.
Yeah.
I want to make a Big Mac.
And
it's not an art form. It's just like a trend. It's like a tribute band.
It's those decisions at a corporate level that I think I'm unhappy with, and it's the exact phrasing. You can see the board meeting unfolding before your eyes when you read that sentence.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
We need a Horizon Zero Dawn. Make it happen now. And then you can see that coming through in a job listing, because all these dudes in grey suits said they need a Horizon Zero Dawn. That's what I'm so upset about.
I mean, I don't mind it so much because obviously Horizon Zero Dawn took a lot from other games like The Witcher. I mean, and that's what made Horizon Zero Dawn good. It's not as good as The Witcher by all accounts, since I haven't played The Witcher through myself. But I don't mind the fact that they're taking inspiration from good games. I just want them to look at an array of games and take inspiration from different games, not just one specific game.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what I'm saying. I think is it's the product. They don't care what the game is. It's the title and the list of features.
Their mentality.
They're like that's a product that we haven't gotten as. We could do one of those, and it's exactly like they're looking at the art form or the fun that the player is having. They're thinking of. Obviously they're the business, but when it's so clear as day for you like that. And I think what really got me is that I didn't realise that was their exact wording. So one of you guys brought this up in the office and said, "Oh, Microsoft want to make a Horizon Zero Dawn type game." I thought. To begin with, I thought that they had described a similar set of features, and then like Kotaku had said the new game sounds like Horizon Zero Dawn. I didn't realise that they had literally said we need a Horizon Zero Dawn. So that was something worth talking about in my book. Anyway, definitely. Okay, so Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to Xbox One X sometime in the future with a different title.
Horizon Zero Yawn.
Yes.
Horizon.
That's it. That's the headline. That's the headline.
Okay, so those are our topics for today. Thanks, guys, for bringing those to the table. So before we do the comments, then let's talk about that exciting announcement that we mentioned at the start of the podcast. There, so this is a very special announcement. We've got 2 passes to give away to EGX 2017, which is the Eurogamer Expo, which is legitimately the biggest UK gaming show there is. Like, it's the biggest expo there is. It's the biggest event in the UK, anyway. It's taking place in the NEC Birmingham from the 21st to the 24th of September. So that's the Birmingham NEC, 21st to the 24th of September. And they're not just passes that we've got, guys. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're super passes. Which is good. It's
what they do. We don't quite know.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you about them. Kind of. It's they're early access basically, and you get early access passes to all 4 days of the event. So it's a 4-day event. You get access to all 4 days, and you can get in early, so you can get in alongside us.
Because we're going to be
YouTubers,
there too.
We'll be there too.
That's the crux. Yeah.
So you can hang around for a couple of hours, I think it is, before everyone else gets to go in, and you'll be in there early playing games as much as you want. And that's essentially what it is. It's a bunch of new games that you can play them months, weeks before they come out. All like every type of game you'd imagine. All the AAA games should be there, as well as like so many indie games and all that kind of stuff.
That's only part of the announcement though, because the other part is
this is the exciting part.
That we're going, and you'll be able to meet us. So you know,
let me get to that bit, Gareth, because it's exciting.
You go ahead,
very
man.
exciting.
You take this, man.
Okay. Let me just check my notes.
let me stop you there, Gareth.
Where was I? Let me stop you there, Gareth, while I read. Maybe okay. So yeah, you can play games with us. We'll be there. It's the biggest UK game. Also aside, it's the biggest. It's the biggest gaming event in the UK. 21st to the 24th of September, Birmingham NEC. Now we're going to run a competition. We're going to give away 2 of these super passes to you guys.
The value of which are
a heck load of money.
£120 each.
£120. Well, they were for they were for 2015. No, £120 all in. So anyway, they're worth quite a bit of money. This is going very well. This was
excited, guys.
This was going so
excited.
Well,
That's what it
and then
is.
our camera crapped out, and we had to film it again. So that's totally thrown me off my game. So if you want to enter this competition, which you can hang out with us at EGX 2017, you can play some games with us, maybe even go for a drink. To enter, just reply to this post on Patreon, which should be on your screens right now, titled EGX Super Pass Giveaway, and answer the following question. If you were to buy the PGG guys a drink at, say, a video game expo, what would you buy them? The answer is by no means legally binding. You can buy us whatever drink you want. It's okay. So you answer that. We would just chuck all the patrons in, but we don't know who can get to the Birmingham NEC. That's very important. You need to be able to get there yourself on those dates. And if you want to stay there, you have to sort out accommodation on your own. We're not made of money. So you can get down to EGX and simply just reply to that post on Patreon.
And it's important that if you can't get to EGX, do not enter.
Exactly.
Because we don't want to be giving tickets to people who can't come.
Yeah, we're only going to be counting the patrons who have replied to this post. So if you want to win, you got to reply to the post and let us know what drinks you'd buy us. So that's EGX 2017. I mean, that's pretty exciting. That's a good giveaway.
We're excited for going.
I'm fucking excited.
We learned about this yesterday. You've always wanted to go to EGX.
I've always wanted to go.
Yeah.
This time last year, I was playing Metal Gear Solid on my sofa going, God, I want to go to EGX.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to, just as a regular old paying customer, and to be able to go this year as press is awesome. It's like, it's the biggest gaming convention in the UK. I mean, last year they had loads of games months out. I mean, you could play Resident Evil 7, which wasn't out till January. They had Final Fantasy and The Last Guardian. Loads and loads of indie games. There's indie games that I wanted to play that still aren't out now. So like Tooth and Tail and stuff.
So what are we expecting? So maybe The Last of Us, maybe Red Dead Redemption?
I don't know.
There'll definitely be lots of multiplayer opportunities to play games as a team. Loads of esports stuff there. So you can LAN up and play games against each other. They have like a big expo. They show off. Like at Final Fantasy last year, they had like all these like attractive women and chocobos and stuff there.
The super passes should let you. I mean, it's all that stuff. That convention stuff is going on as well. But the super passes should let you into the presentations as well. So it's not like E3. There's not like full on hour-and-a-half conferences where they announce new consoles and that kind of stuff. But they do have presentations. So the games that we already know about, they'll like show off, and you'll expect a lot of British studios, a lot of European studios there, definitely. But just for example, you can expect like a Total War presentation or something, and they'll just show off. I don't know when Total War actually comes out, but it might be
September now, is it?
Is it September now? So it might be out before, but they'll still be there. Those types of games that are out around that that time of year, they will all be there. All the pre-Christmas rush games should be there, based on previous years anyway. They'll have presentations about features and stuff like that. So the super passes should let you into those presentations as well. You can watch press stuff unfold as well.
And to give you an idea of like the scale of it, I read that there's 1,500 screens available to play on. I'm not sure how many tickets they're selling.
75,000 was last year and the year before, and that was in the NEC as well.
There's a lot of people, maybe not a lot of people per day. Maybe some people might go on, but there's over 1,000 gaming systems to play on. So.
Yeah, and the super passes as well. I mean, you get once you've picked up your pass on the Monday, there'll be huge queues. 75,000 tickets. There'll be huge queues to get in, but you can get in early every single day.
You'll have your wristband. You can just walk in.
Exactly. You can go straight to your favorite game. You'll have the wristband. They won't even there'll be no waiting involved basically, and so it's a good prize. It's a good prize. So if you want to win it, go on.
Sorry, another thing as well. Before we finish with the explaining about the winning, if any of you guys are going, or any of you not patrons, just general like viewers as well, because this isn't exclusively a Patreon competition as a reward for people who are supporting us on Patreon. For any of you guys who are going and you want to meet up, you want to meet us or something, we'll be there, we'll be available. So
maybe we could arrange some kind of
we'll
hour hangout or something like that.
It might only be a couple of people there.
You say an hour?
1
hour hangout, no more, no less. One day,
we'll be
1 hour.
We're journalists, Jay. We've got fucking work to do, right?
Yeah, we're going to be there for 4 days, though, remember, Mike. And we might have a Winnebago on the car park. We haven't decided that yet.
Let them in for 20 minutes or so, something like that.
The pretty good tour bus.
Yeah.
So if you are thinking of going,
get some door stuff.
And you think, and if it's the deal breaker, whether will I get to meet them? Won't I? We'll put it out there. We're willing to meet you guys. We're willing to go that far. No, listen. We will organise some sort of hangout. So
even if you're not the competition winner, we'll definitely organise something and we'll let you guys know. And if you aren't there and you're viewing from around the world, now you know, we'll be covering it at least.
Yeah, we'll be there with cameras and doing developer interviews and playing some games and bringing you content from all the information that we get on the floor.
It's going to be well ace, mate.
So it is going to be
and
well
if I
ace.
hadn't told you, Jake saying it's going to be well ace, probably has.
Hype man in house. All right, so just to absolutely reiterate, this is your chance to win 2 super passes to the EGX 2017, the Eurogamer Expo at the Birmingham NEC from September the 21st to the 24th. And the super passes, not just normal passes. If you want to win, just reply to this post on Patreon. It'll be on your screens again. Comment on that, and that is the only way you can enter. And let us know what drinks you would buy us if you met us at, for example, a video game expo of some kind. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Oh, that's a good little...
Yeah, well, I said I'd only meet them for an hour, so I had to claw it back a little bit. Okay, so let's go on to the comments then. There's loads this week, so maybe we won't get through them all, but we'll do our best. So Stephen Hughes says, the aliens have arrived and are threatening to wipe out humans off the face of the earth. Unless you can show them one video game that displays the creativity and artistic prowess of humanity, which do you choose? Jake, don't answer first, please.
Liam.
The creativity and prowess
and artistic prowess, yeah.
I don't know.
Any Metal Gear Solid game.
Any Metal Gear Solid game.
Because they all have like a pretty good anti-war message to them.
Very nice.
They'd see the storyline and go, we don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah.
Clearly they're creative.
You're also calming the aliens down as well. That's what he's saying.
There's also a vampire man in the game, in the second one.
Well, we need to explain the concept of vampires to the aliens first.
That's true.
There's all kinds of holes in this question.
And that explains our creativity.
Yeah, it does. Very good.
We'll shy away from games like Stellaris, where the objective is to kill all the aliens. And
not if you play it like I do.
Unless you Mike. Maybe we get Mike to play Stellaris and then just befriend everybody.
That's my answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my non-answer.
Jake, you may proceed.
Cuphead. Creative prowess.
What remains of Edith Finch?
You've added too much pressure to me now. Journey. That's it.
All right.
Now I'm not going to explain why. Next question.
Let's move on.
Thanks for the question, dude. Good question.
Yeah,
Simply Phil says, as well as having great content, you also have a great team dynamic. So I was wondering, who would play each of you in the sitcom based on the weekly antics of Pretty Good Gaming?
Can't all say Mads Mikkelsen, lads.
Charlie Hunnam here, because he had the beard in Sons of Anarchy. Charlie Hunnam.
I don't know. It's just someone.
Rosie O'Donnell for me, mate. It's one for the Americans out there.
Danny DeVito.
Awesome.
Oh, nothing I say is going to top that, is it? Jesus Christ. That was well funny. Nice one,
just for the height alone. The height and glasses.
and the personality. Like, it's just...
Well, depends which type.
Danny DeVito, like... Always only in Philadelphia, Danny DeVito.
I was thinking more Danny DeVito like Taxi, Danny DeVito.
Oh, right, okay. I have no idea.
Louis Theroux.
Louis Theroux, yeah. Louis Theroux's a nice guy, I'll tell you that. All right, DJEP says, what do you think about the character customization in games like Mass Effect Andromeda and the upcoming Far Cry 5? Does it provide a more immersive experience, or is it just an easy way for developers to avoid putting the time and effort into making an intriguing, genuine feeling character? So, is it them being lazy putting in character customization? It's a tough one. I like character customization.
I don't see this character creation being lazy.
Well, he didn't say lazy. He said, is it an easy way? for developers
I don't see it as being easy because you've got to implement loads of different.
It's a different.
You've got to put loads of options available. It's easier to make a character and just have everybody stick to it. Surely.
I think it's more about player choice. A lot of it. If they think like with The Witcher, obviously it's based on that character, isn't it? So there's no escaping it.
Yeah.
But like Mass Effect, for example, they do put a stock option in there. That's quite interesting. It is that character. He's the poster boy, the femshep as well as the poster girl. You know, there are male and female options in there that are, you know, recognizable lead characters. But then you can also just make your own horrifying looking character if you want, because Mass Effect has a terrible character creator in my opinion. I don't know, Liam, what do you think?
I think it's just like depends on their design philosophy. Really, it's like a big difference between like Western RPGs and like Asian RPGs.
Yeah.
Is like Asian RPGs, you like have set characters a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And that's because they want you to follow a linear set story. Whereas like games like Dragon Age or Baldur's Gate, you get to make your own character because they put the emphasis on, like you said, player choice and making
playing
your own story. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's more a creative decision than a decision of you know, how much work they're going to be put into it. It's like, do you want the world to react to you as a person? Like The Witcher, for instance, everyone reacts to Geralt as who he is. And that's part of the game. You know, that's just a creative decision that they've taken, as opposed to Mass Effect Andromeda, where you can just play and beat anybody you want, kind of thing. I don't know.
This is very true. Okay, good question. Very good question, actually. Okay, Nom Nom De Gear asks, any chance of a behind-the-scenes vid of the PGG offices to see where and how the magic happens? Can you guys actually do magic? Is Liam a sorcerer? Burn him. Well, that went downhill fast. He's not a sorcerer. I'm aware of.
No. Quick answers to your questions. Yes. I was thinking about this morning. We can get a behind-the-scenes video. Yes, there's magic.
Shut up,
and
dude.
Yes, he's a sorcerer. Next question.
Shit, been found out.
I was thinking about that. We can quite easily do for the patrons this month. You did a patron video.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we'll do a run
definitely,
through.
That'd be cool. Yeah, we'll do one. The monthly update video is the official title.
Should sort this out before we do that, though.
That's
off camera, which is a good thing. Chris Thompson asks, "Hey guys, my friend and I had a huge argument the other day and would like your opinion. Which game is better, BioShock or BioShock Infinite?"
Jake, take this one?
I finished BioShock 1. I didn't finish BioShock Infinite because I got bored. Make of that what you will.
So that is your answer right there.
BioShock 1, I guess.
I've
played them all. I love BioShock the series.
Liam,
what do you reckon?
I know you're going to...
I think BioShock 1 is an objectively better game. That might be a bit risky saying that, but my personal preference...
Bit Total Biscuit.
My personal preference is BioShock Infinite, just because I like the world more.
Okay.
I like the characters. Elizabeth was a fantastic character.
Fair enough. I've got to stick with BioShock. Gaming Ken, do you think new consoles are now on a slippery slope where eventually the best games may only come out on each platform's elite versions, like the Pro and the X, as each attempts to outdo each other with impressive games? I can't see that happening.
No,
I don't think that would happen. Because it would be very bad to, well, you'd be splitting up the generations then. It wouldn't just be the PlayStation 4 then. It would be the PlayStation 4 Pro would become PlayStation 4 2. You know, it would be too much of a problem for them for it to be worth it. I think that's my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys.
It'd be horrible. It'd be what they want. They want consoles to be like mobile phones. They want it to be some sort of exclusive club for rich kids. Only the best people can buy the best consoles, and then they can play the best games. Don't let it happen. Don't support it. Don't buy shitty pro consoles. If you want to play stuff that you can upgrade, buy a PC. If you don't, just buy a console once every generation. Stop wasting all your money on time on S's and X's and Pros and stupid checkerboard 4K. Don't do it.
We should just stop making videos, I think, because I think Jake just covered it all for the foreseeable future.
Copy and paste that into every answer now.
Gareth McLeavy says, sorry if this has already been asked, but who or what is your favourite video game villain? We've had a lot of questions. Maybe we have had it asked. I can't remember. Mine is probably the End from Snake Eater. Okay, that's not me.
Is he the old dude from.
Yeah, he's like the sleeping sniper.
The sniper that he looks dead, but then his eyes like enlarged.
You can always do
that,
that cool thing with the end where you could set your PlayStation 2's time ahead by a couple of years, and then you reload the game, and the boss dies of old age. Yep. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So if you're playing he's a sniper, right, and he's giving you a bit of hassle, set your PlayStation forward a couple of years ahead, and he dies of old age. That's such a cool little detail, isn't it? Mm-hmm. He's a good choice, although can't withstand a couple of PlayStation years, can he? Bad guys are interesting. A lot of the time, it's like comic book things, isn't it? Bad guys are normally the cool characters, like Far Cry. Say what you will of Far Cry, it's got some pretty good bad guys.
It's all about the villains.
Pagan Men. And
what's the other one? The island one called Vass.
Yeah,
he was cool. They're good shouts.
Liam Go have a good answer for this, surely.
Yeah. I'd probably say Kefka from Final Fantasy VI. Because throughout the first half of the game, he's just like because he dresses like a clown jester, and you literally he just appears in and out. And then at the midpoint of the game, it's like he's like the true villain all along, and he literally he wins. He wins. He destroys the world,
right?
And the entire second half of the game, he did. Yeah. The entire second half of the game is you just trying to claw back what you can from him. It's like I think that's what stands out for me because he's a villain. You're never actually aware
he sounds like a bastard.
He is a bit of a bastard. You never
he destroyed the world. He's a bit of a bastard.
You're never aware he's there, but then because he was so his scheme was so well hidden, he wins, and the heroes just have to deal with it.
Very nice.
I think that answer wins this question.
Yeah. Nick Randall, if you could go to any era in any game and be the main protagonist, what would it be? E.g. Star Wars Jedi on Hoth or Red Dead Redemption in the Old West. So his predictions, this is why I wanted to read this out. His predictions for who we would want to be in what era. Something about robot dinosaurs was for me. Gaz was survival badass in space. That's got to be something to do with...
that's accurate.
Yeah.
Very close.
Skate 4 Spyro the Dragon.
Is that for me?
That's Jake.
Is that for me? It's about Skate 4.
Liam is some JRPG hipster shit nobody's heard of.
Accurate predictions.
I don't know if I'd be that happy in Robot Dinosaur Land. I don't know. I'd want to be in space probably. But Star Trek, Commander style, to just have my own ship exploring. Mm-hmm. That was my childhood dream, actually. Career prospects. That's what I was like. What do you want to be when you're older? Space captain.
My answer was going to be Joel from The Last of Us, but now he suggested putting him in space. That's fucking ideal.
Not even just in space. It's like a PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds character in space. It's like survival badass in space. So there's two things that you like.
There's a survival badass.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Are you happy with yours, Jake? You're going to stick with?
No, I know. Speaking with the dragon, I'll segue into being a Dragonborn in Skyrim would be fucking cool.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
It'd be good if to shout and stuff. And I love the world of Cyrodiil, the whole thing. So yeah, definitely one of the Elder Scrolls worlds, and I'd be Dragonborn. Yeah.
Very nice, Liam.
Just look at my E3 pick from last week, Ace Combat Fighter Pilot.
You want to be Tom Cruise? Okay.
No, not
from Top Gun. Yeah.
Don't want to be Tom Cruise.
You're about the same height, aren't you? He's quite small, Tom Cruise.
He is.
Oh, 5'7", something like that. Yeah.
I don't want to be Tom Cruise though.
Wouldn't mind being a few pounds behind him, a few quid behind him.
Yeah.
RG Sanders, it's obvious you guys have a great spread of gaming tastes across both systems and genres. I'm curious though, if you had to choose...
both systems? How many systems are you...
No, both systems as in both systems and genres. So we have
both systems
spread
on.
on.
Sorry, yeah. I thought he was a console player and he was disregarding the PC... What?
Maybe
console players? Sorry, I put my MasterCard.
Yeah, put it
away again.
He's asking if you had to choose one platform and one game. Let's pretend you're trying to sell me on it. Which ones would you pick? So one game and one platform. What would you choose? Just like the best.
I think Gaz's platform's already.
Do you want me to get the card?
Get it out.
Yeah, PC, obviously.
What game?
Yeah, PC. I mean, you can play if you want to play with a controller. Just plug a fucking controller in and play a PC.
You've
got better specs. You've got. I mean, who doubts that? I guess unless you want the exclusives on PS4.
I'm gonna keep it short again. Baldur's Gate 2. Play it on the PC, and you'll understand where every good RPG came from. And I don't think it would be right to play it on. It wouldn't work on a console. If you play it, you'll understand a lot more about why games are the way they are that are good.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 2 on the PC, definitely.
Okay, Liam?
PS1, Final Fantasy 7. There you go. Everyone loves Final Fantasy 7.
You can play Final Fantasy 7 on PC.
That's an answer I'd like.
Yeah, but
no,
PS1's
it's not right
the
on
original
it's not right on
experience.
PC.
Jake gets it.
Exactly. PS1, keep it true.
Like PS1, like low res.
Play the fucking port on PC.
I bet you it's a million
Look at
times
you,
better
your
than PlayStation 1.
opinions.
I bet
God, stop having a different opinion than me, mate.
I would choose PC, and it's the thing though. It's virtually any game you want to play of any variety you can play on PC. And
that's it, Mike. That's the answer.
But
Just PC. That completes the answer.
Is
like
PC,
any game, PC.
Yeah, which I'm just quite.
That was my answer.
You started off praising how great our spread of tastes were, and 3 of us have chosen PC, and Liam's the only one who's doing this guy solid by picking a PS1.
I tried to put some variety in there.
So,
you've done a great job.
all right, original Xbox, Fable 1. There you go. Who saw that coming?
Beautiful.
Who saw that coming? Yeah.
What a list that is.
All right, Smash Tommy, have you ever visited a place or heard of a story and thought that would be made into a great game? Visited a place is tough. Visited a place, I don't know.
I went to Mont Saint Michel once, and that's a pretty cool thing. Have you ever seen it? It's
Yeah.
like,
Is it like a fort in the middle of the sea? Or
it's almost. It's just on the like the sea comes in and it makes it its own little island, but it's basically a rock. And it's got like a monastery on top of it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of buildings, right?
I've been there before.
Yeah, there's like you walk all the way up and there's like a little village around it, but it's literally a rock, and they've built a monastery on top of the rock.
on a school trip once.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a little trivial fact. Yeah, that would be
It's
awesome,
awesome,
wouldn't it? Yeah, you know.
And then the sea literally comes in, and like you can't get to it.
Yeah.
But they have built this walkway, but you know you can't get to it until it's the right time of day. Basically,
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Okay, interesting.
good
Anyone? Any others?
I'd like to see a game based on just like 8th century. The birth of Vikings. I don't know. You don't really get Vikings are so badass. People love axes and fighting monsters. I'm not really seeing like a Viking game. I don't know why.
Isn't there a game called Viking?
There is. Sega made it for the original Xbox, but that was 10, 11 years ago.
Right.
It wasn't that popular. I finished it. I don't know anyone else that played it. But, a AAA big modern Viking game, maybe like a Desperate Survival one. A bit more of like a gritty one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could even just like a classic boring vengeance story. Your village has been burnt down or whatever. There's loads that you could do with Vikings. I feel like there's not a thing for it. Pirates are coming in. Maybe we'll see Vikings again soon. I don't know. I think that's inspiration.
A pirate
Pirates
mod for Mountain Blade 2, maybe. Oh, sorry, a Viking mod for Mountain Blade.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that would be wicked.
Because
Yeah.
you could easily like reskin Mountain Blade 2 to be Vikings, and it's
Just like setting fire to like the wooden crappy little forts that they had and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Okay, cool. Good question. A free-flying soul. I'd like to hear your thoughts on Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen. I haven't really played these at all. So, does anyone play Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen?
Gas is the one.
I've got early access to Star Citizen. I've not played Elite Dangerous. Star Citizen. I've said it before, but my impressions of it are that it still needs a lot of work, and the development cycle is so drawn out, and they keep drawing out. It's like it's like a piece of like they're rolling out some like dough or something. That's how I see the development cycle. It's like they're trying to stretch it as long as possible. They're doing all right through the early access. A lot of people are paying loads of money, like thousands of pounds for ships. I'm sounding very cynical now, but
people
it seems
defend
to me,
it passionately though.
I mean, it seems to me like they're doing all right out of early access, so they're in no rush to release it because once it's released, I don't know. I've played it, and there's various different game modes. There's like a shooter mode, and there's like you can free fly in space and stuff, and you can walk around a station, but it's nothing like the coherent one single game that it's supposed to be. It's
such a big project for me now. I can't really get my head around it because there's different modules. There's like a first person shooter or something, isn't there?
Yeah,
like some
that's
of
right.
It's quite intimidating from the outside. Like it sounds like a game that I would love to get into, but I don't know. There's just something about it. I need to know exactly what the product is, and I can't research it. I don't want to. Put the time into
It's
it.
very complicated because Roberts Space Industries is the name of the website.
Yeah.
It's not even Star Citizen.
Yeah.
It's Roberts Space Industry, which is the company in the game lore that created like spaceflight and all sorts of shit.
Interesting.
And then there's there is the different branches of the game. Then there's the single player, which is the Squadron 44 thing.
Yeah.
And there's the online only persistent universe. It is very complicated.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The reason it gets drawn out as well is that it keeps coming to a fork in the road where they can say, right, guys, we can put the game out now as it is, or if you keep funding us, we can add this to the game as well, Squadron 44 or whatever, and we can employ some, you know, acting talent and stuff like that. And people keep deciding every time it comes to one of them, we want more, we want more, we want more. Yeah. So they keep pushing it away. But the fans could have picked to have put the game out in a certain state at one point. Yeah, 2 points actually that they've been in now. But I think now the fans are pushing towards integrating Squadron 44 into the whole package, and that would be good. Out even more. Is it ever going to happen?
I think that would make it an easier sell for everyone who isn't already invested in it, though. I think that would be a more coherent thing, where it's just a mode that you choose within the, you know, it's that kind of thing, I guess. But yeah, from the outside, it sounds really interesting. I'm just definitely going to be waiting around to see it, though. So that's Gareth's thoughts on what he's played so far. And finally, Vinny Bartels, what's a game that does a certain mechanic feature so well developers should be required to play it before they add that mechanic to their games? So, for example, he says, if you want to put side quests of any kind in your game, play The Witcher 3 first.
The Witcher?
That's a good
3.
Call.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I know what he's talking about. It's I don't know. It's a tough question, that, because there's certain games that I definitely know what you mean, though, because sometimes people try and put things in their games and they just like fall flat on their face, and like it's like, how is this game doing it so well, and you can't even half do it? You know, I definitely get what you mean.
I've got an answer. I would say that anyone who wants to do space flights and space battles should play Everspace. This is one of my games of the year so far. Wow. I'm continuing to play it. I feel drawn to play it. And customization as well, and just you know, the progress of the game itself. Space battles. I mean, I've never experienced a game that's been so responsive in a dogfight, and it's just awesome. I just love being in that spaceship.
Cool. Anyone else?
I think if you want to show like exposition or storytelling without words, I think people should be required to play Inside. It's very, very good at doing that, and building a little world without any dialogue. If you're going to make a silent game, play Inside first, developers, please.
Yeah, okay, Liam?
I'd say if you want to do, say, co-op 4-player gameplay, look how Monster Hunter does it.
I was going to say that, but Left 4 Dead. But continue.
Yeah, I'd say, because the way Monster Hunter does it is, you can have, I think, up to 4 or 5 players. Yeah. But each one can have a distinct role. They're always doing something. They're never going to feel bored. Like, no matter what, there's always something to keep every player busy.
It's almost MMO-ish in the, you know, the tank, DPS, healer, kind of whatever. So you've got jobs that only you are really doing it. So you've got, I know definitely what you mean. Yeah, that's cool.
I think Monster Hunter really comes to life as well with its multiplayer co-op gameplay. Yeah, that's the game at its best.
Yeah, that's the most fun ever playing. I played a bit of it single player, didn't like it. Played it with my friend on his brother's, like, you know, tanked up, leveled up account. We were playing it for hours and hours, working together. You feel so important, and everyone's got a role, like you say. But it doesn't feel like a chore. You feel like you're the main guy taking this monster. Everyone feels like they're the main guy, and it's good that they've got that balance. Yeah. It's very inclusive, and it's really, really good at doing that. Yeah, totally.
I'm going to change my answer then to something a bit more nebulous, or a bit more cerebral. If you want to do anything other than normal third-person shooting or normal, you know, like Dark Souls style combat, and you don't know what to do, you don't know how to build the combat system to build your game around, play Horizon Zero Dawn and realize that if you just think about what you're trying to do, you can come up with something completely, just shooting bits off metal robots with a bow and arrow is just, that's, as a gameplay loop, just doesn't feel like much else that I've ever played, and it's something different. So just play Horizon Zero Dawn and realize that there is, you know, another option to just, you know, the same old like over the shoulder shooting, or the same old like Dark Souls kind of slashing and managing your stamina bar kind of melee combat. There are other things you can do. You just need to imagine it and come up with it.
You can do new things. You can do old things in a new creative way.
Yeah, I guess. So thank you very much for your questions, guys. They were very good as always. We're getting loads of them, but just keep them coming in. We love reading them. If we don't get a chance to read them out on the podcast, well, that's kind of tough on us. But we've managed it so far, so hopefully we can keep it going. Should we leave that in?
We'll leave that in, and that's like indicative of what happens on a daily basis around it. All these walls are covered in these things that drop. But There we go.
As a metaphor for this podcast's outro, stuff is falling off the walls. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Remember to enter the competition if you're interested. Patrons, the post will be over on our Patreon feed if you want to enter that. Reply to it. That is the only way you get entered. My name's been Mike Williams. I've been joined by Liam McKelvey, Jake Kukowski, and Gareth Evans. Thanks for watching. See you next time. What? I just did that.